Why, if sin is such an issue, right? Why didn't God just create us without the ability to sin? Basically, why didn't he create a world without evil, without wrong? Perfect. So that's what we getting into today, man. Y'all stay up. This your boy Tay, man. This the Influence Channel. You already know. And I don't blame people for asking, because in my faith walk, I've even asked that question, because I hate that even on my best day, I can't be good. Now, you ask a lot of people, ask anybody, do you think you're a good person? They're going to say, yeah, I think I'm a good person. But according to who? Yourself? Nah, that ain't going to work. And even when Jesus was here on earth, he said, none of y'all are good. No man is good. Not one. So clearly, we can't really dictate what goodness is. That has to come from something above us. When this question is asked, why didn't God just make us perfect, sinless? You know, I think there are a few things that people, they're not considering, right? So here's the first thing that I think about. The first question I'm going to ask, we got to think about, what is the world even going to look like? So a world with no evil, a world with no sin, basically it would be another heaven, I would assume. But what if God wasn't interested in creating another heaven? And one thing that hit my head the other day is, we have an opportunity that the angels don't have. We get an experience that they don't get. And that is, we get to discover God. I know what life was before I gave my life to Jesus. And if you're watching this, you probably know what your life is now. If you haven't given your life to Jesus, or if you are a believer, you know what your life was before you gave your life to Christ. And then even now, we're still discovering him. We don't know all there is to God. But the angels who were created, they up there. They see him. They know what it is. But we don't, and we get an opportunity to learn of him. So even when we think about this, I think Frank Turek has said it. He was saying that what is likely possible may not be achievable with free spirits. And I agree, because if God is going to create us to be free, obviously there's going to be some things that come with that. Because when you're free, you have the ability to say, you know what, I'm going to follow God, or I'm not. And if we weren't free, then why are there people who chose in their hearts, I'm not going to follow God? I don't even believe he exists. I think if that world was created, people who desire that, I think you're just subscribing to being a robot. Now, as I said, in my journey, I've come to be like, yo, I wish I was the robot, because I hated the fact that even in my relationship with Christ, in the love that I have for him, I still can't be sinless. And sin is what drives us apart, because I'm not adhering to his ways. I'm not following his ways in the laws and doing things God's way. And so I know that's putting a block between us. But as long as I'm in this flesh, I can't be perfect. You can't be perfect. And that's all the more reason why we needed Jesus to come, because us on our own willpower, we can't achieve it. Even us being able to determine what goodness is, we still can't even do that and be that at a consistent rate. If we're robots, then we've been programmed to follow God. And how would love exist? Because for it to be love, it can't be forced. I have to freely choose. I freely chose to marry my wife. She didn't force me. She didn't coerce me. She didn't manipulate me. None of that. I got on my knee based on how I felt, based on past evidence, and based on faith in God that, yo, this is the woman that is going to be with me by my side as I become everything God has created me to be. Right. And so that's not forced. And her saying yes, I didn't force her to do that either. So when I think about Adam and Eve and the temptation, it wasn't about them breaking a rule. It was about getting mankind to believe a lie. And this particular lie is the lie that mankind still believes to this day. And that there is something else out there that'll give me what I want and what I need more than God. He's holding out on me. That's basically the position that Satan took. And that's what he presented. So yeah, we be robots. And at that point, you're not choosing nothing. You doing what you was programmed to do. Another point, and I saw this point on YouTube. There's somebody in the comments I saw. It said, by placing the tree where Adam wouldn't have the opportunity to choose, God would be the one choosing and not giving Adam the choice to take from the tree or not to take from the tree. And that's facts. Because it's like, if I had 3 college acceptance letters, let's say I sent my joint out, 3 schools, right? My parents going through the mail and they see those 3 schools. But then they decide, nah, let's take those 2 out. We think this is what's best for him, so we're going to take these 2 out. In my head, I never saw the other 2, so in my head, it would be, oh, snap. This is the only school that got back to me, so I'm going to go to this school. It's my only option. No, it wasn't my only option. It was the only option that was presented to me. My parents made a choice for me by kind of manipulating the situation and only presenting me with one option. So therefore, I made this choice with the choices that I had presented, and when I was only one. But in Adam and Eve's case, and Adam particularly, Adam knew what that tree was, and he knew what would happen if he ate from it. The maximum possibilities were 2. You eat from it or you don't eat from it. Adam made his choice. When you have choices, you can prove your love. But when you ain't got no options, that's nothing. But let you as a man start having a whole bunch of women flocking around you. Or you as a woman, a lot of guys is throwing themselves at you. Now all of a sudden you acting different to the one that was with you before it all. I think something that people are missing is God wants a relationship with us. So in order to have that relationship, you have to choose him. He's a father. What father isn't going to want their child to be in a relationship with them? This was the point of the prodigal son, of that parable. God, the father didn't want to give his son all his stuff so he could go off and squander it. But this is also the part and why he had so much joy when the son came back and threw a party. Because you were never supposed to be away from me. I never desired that for you. I wanted you to stay with me and stay locked in with me. And God looks at that the same way. He celebrates. He's joyful when we come back to him. That's why the Bible is the greatest love story. Because from Genesis, you have things were created. Man broke it. And from Genesis on, you have God trying to restore and reconcile back with man, who quite honestly we're not worthy of it. But yet, how else would you describe the reasons in which why he continues to do what he's doing? It's the love. Everybody want to go to heaven, but people don't want the God of heaven. Like, make that make sense. If you don't want God, don't want heaven, because that's his place. That's his palace. That's his kingdom. Another thing to think about is, lastly, God shows the magnitude of his love and his faithfulness. If we were robots, how could God really show that? We're doing what we were programmed to do. But when you have free beings who can decide to, I want my inheritance, and then leave and go squander it all, and still decide whether to come back or not, like the prodigal son. When you have your creation who is able to choose you or not, yes, it hurts God. And I don't believe this, God sends people to hell. He doesn't. Your choices put you there. Like I said, people want heaven, but they don't want the God of heaven. So if you didn't want God when you were alive, why would you want him for eternity? Eternity is a very long time. We can't fathom how long that is because there is no time thing for that. It's just forever. So if you didn't want him when you had limited time, why would you want him in an unlimited time? I think what people need to understand is, instead of thinking about, oh, why he didn't just make us perfect, think about every sin you've done and how God still stands at the door and he knocks, waiting for you to let him into your life. That's the beautiful part about Jesus, about the patience, about the kindness, about the love, how he took off glory and decided to come amongst us and dwell amongst us, experience our experience, and to die for our sins. It's a beautiful thing, because we're not worthy. We're not. You're not sacrificing anything precious to you for someone that you know. It's like you sacrificing your child for a prisoner. Would you do that? No. And that's for someone for a one-time offender. Now imagine someone who's always been doing it. You're not about to trust that person with anything, or you're not even going to try to bless that person. But yet with God, he continues to display his mercy, his grace, his faithfulness to say, I'm not giving up. And he hasn't. He didn't do it with Israel, and he didn't do it with the world. And that's the beautiful thing that we get to see through generations of how God has been faithful, despite us taking that free will and saying, I choose not to be with you, God. I choose me. I choose to play God. I choose to do what I want to do. But yet he calls out to us all the time. So I hope this video was a blessing. I hope it helps you with some things you may be wrestling with. Please, if you got to this point, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, turn your bell notification on. As I continue to do these videos, check out the podcast, the Influence Podcast, which is also on the channel as well. I pray this is edifying and it helps you out and just gets you to start thinking. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Y'all stay up, stay blessed, peace and love, and may the Lord be with you always.